So today I thought I'd go over the dirt bike that I'm riding right now, and then just some of the kind of the mods that I've done to it, kind of make it better. But I guess to start with a backstory, we did a couple videos in the past with the dirt bikes a little bit, not so much lately. But you know, when I was younger, I think in my teens, well, I was in my teens and my early 20s, I rode dirt bikes quite a bit. I had a smaller one that I bought when I was like 16. It was just an enduro older bike that I rode, and then when in my early 20s, I bought me a YZ250 two-stroke, which was it was fast. it was a lot of fun, and we ended up the place we ended up like riding was kind of up in the mountains on the single track stuff, and so we. I had one. One of my younger brothers had a dirt bike. He had a Yamaha. I think it was like a 125. It was an older one. It was a two-stroke, and then I had a cousin that had a four-stroke at the time. But anyway, so I rode back then, and then I ended up selling that YZ250 because that just had trouble fouling plugs, and his did too. So I always carried a couple spark plugs with us in case it did foul, so we'd change it so we could keep going. But so I was sold it and thought I was going to buy a four-stroke, and then I ended up getting four-wheelers and riding those quite a bit, and kind of did that for a lot of years. And then when my son was younger, he had cousins and friends that had dirt bikes, and he kept telling, he wanted a dirt bike. I'm like, we got four-wheelers, that's good enough. But then in 2019, we were standing on a trail. It goes back into the lake. It's single track. And I was like, we'll see how next year goes. Maybe we'll get dirt bikes again, because that would be fun to kind of go back into these places that we can't go on four-wheelers or in the Jeeps or that kinds of stuff. So in 2020, I ended up buying him a 19 KTM XCW. It's a two-stroke, just a 150. And it was a little bit on the big side for him height-wise, but within 4 or 5 months, it fit him really good. And he just did really good on it. He picked it up really quick. And then I ended up getting me one a little later, because that year they were just sold out. It's hard to get stuff. So I put money down on one and bought one. So that kind of got us started riding dirt bikes again. And I started with a four-stroke 350, an XCFW 350. But then the more I was reading on stuff, the 300 and watching videos and stuff, it's supposed to be really good for that singles track riding and stuff like that. So I ended up buying a 22, rode that for a little while, and then I was building my white Jeep, the 392. So I put them both for sale. I kind of wanted to sell the four-stroke and keep the 300, but the four-stroke sold within 2 hours. So I was like, okay, well, I'll see if I can sell the other one. Once I get done building my Jeep, then I'll buy me another one. But I don't know, just getting really low offers on it. So once I got done building, for the most part, building Jeep, I still had a few things I was working on, but I ended up buying a 24 XCW 300. And so this was kind of mostly a new bike. It's like 95% new over the previous years. New motor, new chassis, new everything, and all the reviews were really good on it. So I bought it, I think it was August of 23. So I've had about a little over a year. And rode a little bit that year, didn't get too much. It was kind of late in the year. And then we actually got out and rode some more this year. So I don't do a ton of dirt bike riding, but we do some. We'll do some in the spring down low once it starts warming up. And then as the mountains get the snow out of them, then we'll ride up on some single track up in the mountains. But it's kind of nice. The dirt bikes kind of get you, it makes it so you can get back into places you can't get with other things. And we've seen some really cool country, really pretty country. And it's fun. We had a lot of fun. I got some brothers that have them and some of their kids. So it's fun to kind of all go and just have some fun. So when I bought this, before I even took it, I had them do a few mods to it at the time. One of the things I did, is these don't come with a fan on the radiator. So I figured I'm riding in hotter temperature and some of that slower stuff. So I had them put a fan on it so that it'll kick on once it gets so hot. So I had a fan put on, and then I had the pipe on the back changed out, because the ones that come on these, they don't have a spark arrestor in it. And so where I'm riding, I kind of have to have a spark arrestor. So I put an FMF pipe on the bike, and I put hand guards on the bike. I think that's what I started out with. And then earlier this year, actually I'd ridden through the spring. So right before we started riding up in the mountains this year, some of the single track and stuff up there, I decided I wanted to do a few more upgrades. The first thing I did is I did the tires. So I was running the factory tires, and they're all right, but they're not as good as something else that you can get. So for the front tire, I ended up going with the Golden tire. It's the 990. So it's not the fatty tire, it's kind of the standard, I think. That's what I ran on my other bikes, and I like it. It's worked really well. And then for the rear, I ran the GX8 IRC tire, which is more of, it's a softer compound. I ran that on my last 300, and I really liked it. It'll probably wear out a little quicker, but I like the traction. I really like the traction that it's given me, because while I was into doing that, I got talking to him, because I talked to him a little bit right after I bought it about possibly doing a new head. It's actually a head insert. So I got talking to them about that, and they said that they'd been putting on, it's one of theirs that they've been using. I'm not sure exactly, but they call it the Carl's head. It's from Carl Cycle Sale there in Boise. And then they've been matching it with Pro Circuit Platinum pipe, fatty, I don't know what we call it, fatty pipe. Anyway, the pipe coming right out of the motor. And so I ended up going ahead and having them get me the stuff for that, and then took it back in after got the tires done, and they put all that stuff on. So before I went out that first trip, I got the tires done, I got the pipe put on, and the head. So then we headed up, and we went up camping, and that first trip we got in some stuff that's a little more difficult than I'd been in. We don't generally haven't rode on really, really difficult stuff, but easier to middle, I guess. At least at this point, it seems like the more you do things, you end up pushing the limits. So I'm sure that'll probably happen. But anyway, we ended up going down a trail it's one I went on when I had my YZ250 back in my 20s, and I was like, oh, that'll be a fun one. It's pretty easy. Drops down into a creek, and then we can come back out. But anyway, we went down that, and I'm going down it going, this is not what I remember. So anyway, we kind of going down, it was steeper and a little more windy than I remembered it, and it had some, you're dropping down off rocks and boulders, a lot of rocks and boulder stuff, and there's one you dropped down off a big one. And then we got down to the creek, and we hung out there for a while. The kids played in the creek for a little bit, and then headed back up it, and this thing, just doing the head and the pipe, it runs way better. I mean, it runs really good. It's a little stronger down low. So this pipe, the Pro Circuit, the Platinum, is kind of a low to mid range, which is perfect for the type of riding I do. And it just runs better. And then, so we started back out of there. Between that and then the tires, I mean, I just got it gripped up good. I mean, it was fun coming back out of there. And so I'm really, really happy that I went that route and did the head and the pipe, and I guess changed the tires to something better, because it worked really, really good. So on this bike, I really like this bike. The 22 is good. I really liked it too, but I like this one better. They redoing what they did. The XCW, they kind of, I don't know if you call it toned down, or it's just not, to me, it's better for the type of riding I'm doing. And so I really like that. And then changing the head and the pipe just give you a little more low end, and I don't know, it just runs better. And so anyway, we got it out a few times this summer, and it was fun. It was fun riding back in those places. For some reason, this bike, I don't know, it just feels better to me than the previous bikes that I've had. So I'm really happy. I like this one. Looking forward to getting out this summer and doing some more of that single track up in the mountains. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. So there's a few more mods that I'd like to do to it. I kind of looked into it One thing I didn't mention is when I did the tires, I actually went with a heavier tube to kind of help not get flats. I actually looked at the moose balls, which, you know, you put in the tire and keeps it from, you can't get a flat tire that way. I still would like to do that, so that's something that I'm thinking about doing, the moose balls, just so that I don't have any worries about getting flats. Kind of curious how it's going to ride. People I've talked to like them, so that's something I want to do here in the future is go that route instead of running tubes. The other thing that I probably would do eventually, the other bikes I had, I upgraded the suspension for my weight. I'm not a long ways over the weight of what these come, so it's been really good. It's been good, so I haven't worried about doing it at this point, but I may end up eventually just upgrading the suspension, or I don't know if it's upgrading, but anyway, making it so it's set up for just my actual weight. So that's something I'll probably do somewhere here in the future. Like I said, so far, it actually feels really good. So I'm close to that range. I'm just a little over it now. Previous bikes I were over it more, but not anymore. So that's something I'm thinking about doing, and I'm probably going to change the seat out to, trying to think of the name, Seat Concept. That's why I ran on one of my other bikes. I really liked them, so I'm thinking about doing that, and then maybe doing a decal kit somewhere along the way, kind of customize it a little bit. But anyway, I really like this bike. I have the three that I've had, the recent three that I've had, even with the ones previous, but they're, of course, technology is so much better now than it was back then. But this, I really like this. I like the way it feels. I like the power. I like how it's still got tons of power, but it's just a little more, I don't even know how to really, it's just, I don't know if it's just like a little toned down or just a little more linear or manageable, working through that, you know, more tight trails and difficult trails. But I really like that. So far, I really like this bike. So I'm going to ride it. I'm looking forward again, like I said, riding again this summer, and hopefully I can do a few more mods on it and see how it all works out. But so anyway, I haven't done a lot of videos on the dirt bikes in the past. I'll probably throw some. I probably won't do a bunch because we do a lot of the Jeep stuff too. So there'll be, you know, more of that content, of course. Some of the camping, but I think I'll do some of this too, just because it's cool, some of the places that we've been able to get back into, and maybe be able to share that with you when we're doing that. So anyway, I guess that's what I got for you today, and I guess I'll leave it at that, and we'll see you on the next one.